Hello folks, just doing a quick last minute sound check to make sure everything is working okay. If it is and you can hear me and you can see me, then a little comment in the live chat would be helpful, and I will see you at the bottom of the hour at 7:30. See you then. Hello, good evening. Welcome to In Studio Live, the 56th edition. This is week 50 of doing this, which means it's similar sort of number of weeks since we first went into lockdown. Oh well, right. Let's get on with the show because we've got something a little bit different tonight. I'm doing a live shoot here in the studio for you to see. So, the usual rundown, in case you're new here, this is the first of the live streams that you've watched, or you're watching it on replay. Do me a favour and just take a moment to hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon so you get notified when there's new content on the stream on there. Do comment when I post videos on this channel and on the two sister channels, the Travel Photography and Learn Lightroom ones. And I like the comment that's already in the chat from Tristan. He's already liked the live stream even before it began. You're the type of viewer I want on here, Tristan. So welcome. Right, yes. Please do like the video on there. That does kind of send a message to the YouTube algorithm, which will help me. And I have a weekly challenge on a Sunday night to try and beat a record of 17 likes before we get to the end of the intro. So go and hit the like button and see whether tonight is the night that we will beat it. And my thanks, as ever, to everyone who's been sharing links to the show. I really do appreciate that. It really does help with the promotion of it. It helps gain new viewers, which is what we need. So if you don't know, the shows are twice weekly at the moment. We're in a trial period. It may well carry on. Trial period of 2 months to see what happens with twice weekly, where Sunday night is primarily tutorial and question and answer, and Wednesday night is more focused on your feedback. Your images, me giving you feedback. Oh, can't get my words out. Right. So that's the general plan for them, but we also have a YouTube. No, I really can't get the words out tonight, can I? We have a Facebook group where we carry on the conversation during the week, where people share photos. Not been that many this last week, so do keep sharing your images there, folks. It's good to see images there. Good to see what you're shooting. I know it's hard to get out and shoot at the moment when we're all in lockdown and feeling pretty grotty and miserable about the situation. But we've got another challenge coming up. I'm probably going to do it April time. Maybe I'll start announcing it in March. That's sort of an Easter challenge, really, or that sort of period beyond there. So we've got a new challenge coming up. And it's the place where you can find out what's going on with the live streams and the challenges that are coming up and things like that. A general place to hang out and chat. As I say each time, the shows are on YouTube in their entirety for quite a while. So if you've missed one or you're new and you want to see what the previous ones are about, go and have a look at them. And then I'm doing cut down versions and I'm doing highlights on YouTube with the full versions moving over into my academy. And if you do find the shows helpful and you want to say thank you financially, no obligation to, but I really appreciate it for those who have been. There is a link down below where you can buy me a cup of tea. It's basically BuyMeACoffee, which a lot of the YouTubers use, but I use it. I don't drink coffee, so I've had mine renamed to Buy Me a Tea. This week's tea comes courtesy of Terry Hewitt. So cheers, Terry, much appreciated. I do try and have giveaways as well in terms of free content for those who've been buying me cuppers. I haven't got anything tied in with this week's, but those of you who had bought me a cup of tea over the last couple of weeks, I sent out earlier today an inspiration sheet all on sunrises and sunsets, which tied into live stream a couple of weeks ago. So if you were expecting that and haven't got it, do let me know, because it has now gone out on there. Talking of the Facebook group, we changed the cover image every week to a new image. This is the current one. It's from Adam Riley. Cracking image of a big airy cow, and appropriate. Chinese New Year of the bovine, the ox, on there. So it does kind of tie in with that. But what will be the one that I'm going to change it to after the show tonight? It might be yours, so stay tuned till the end of the show to find out. I have a newsletter, again, linked down below on that. So what have we got on the show tonight? Well, as I said, it's a little bit different tonight. I've got a live Q&A, as ever, always have that there. I've got a live tabletop shoot, and I'm going to go through 2 Valentine's related images. One which I've called the Heart of Poetry, and the other one I've called Bible Heart, and I'll show you how we do that. I've shared, well, one of them is the thumbnail to the live stream, which you will have seen. The other one I shared on YouTube, not on YouTube, on Facebook this afternoon as I was setting up. I was testing everything worked. And I'm going to share with you one of my travel videos. Now, I was going to do this as a sort of preview, but I thought, well, I'm actually going to give you folks the chance to choose which video it is, because in between the 2 live demos, I just need a couple of minutes to reset a few things and to clear the decks and all that. So I want to play a video in. I was thinking of what it's going to be, and I've come up with 2 that I'm going to play in. One is the video that went live on my travel channel, I think it was Friday, so it's a very new one, which you may or may not have seen, which is all about photographing architectural abstracts. So that's number 1, architectural abstracts. Number 2 has not gone on to the travel channel yet, although there's a really old version of it on this channel if you searched hard enough, which is a video all about a visit I made to Gaspé in Canada. And it's a brand new edit. So even if you have seen the one on here, this one is so much slicker, so much nicer, and it's been color graded and everything like that. Spent some time on it yesterday, and that's going to go live in a week or so's time on the travel channel. So you can see that as a preview. It's going to be one or other of those. So if you want the architectural highlights, put that in the live chat. If you want the Gaspé travel log, put that in the highlights. If it's a tie, I will have the deciding vote. And I'm not telling you which one I'm going to show. You'll just have to wait and see. So there you go. Pop something in the chat to let me know which of those 2 you'd prefer to see. Right. Well, have we beaten the record on number of likes? Well, we've got 11, but we've got 18 concurrent viewers. So we could have got there. We nearly got there. Oh dear, somebody's just left. We've got 17 concurrent viewers on that. Right, okay. So the live Q&A, part 1. If you've got questions, stick them in the live chat. If you're watching it on replay, put them in the comments. If you are entering anything into the live chat, just remember there's a bit of a delay from when you type it in to when I apparently receive it. That's because the recording, it's not a recording, the live broadcast and you viewing it are out of sync because YouTube buffers things on there. So that equates to a delay. If you've got, excuse me. If you've got questions during the week, do email them to me. Contact me at ians-studio.co.uk. So no questions I can see in the live chat just at the moment. So let's move over to our live shoot. And this one I've called The Heart of Poetry. Now, I'm hoping what I've got set up with all the different cameras and the different angles is going to work. Let's find out. So, you say, suddenly remembering which button I need to press. There we go, except that's not the display that's supposed to be on there. That's the display. So what you have got, or what you should have, is that way next to me should be the Lightroom screen. Now I've cropped it so it's just the bit with the image on, not the two panels. If I'm doing anything which involves the two panels, I'll be seated here and I'll switch it to that view so that you can see them. But normally it'll be that, so you can see exactly what the camera is seeing. Up above me is a close-up view of the table, and the other camera is a wider view of the scene here, which means I should now be able to walk around and you can still see me while I'm talking. So let's hope this all works. I'm going to bring my keyboard over here and my mouse, because I might well need those. Right, let me explain the setup on this. I'm doing this with minimal amount of gear because I want it to be something that you could replicate at home. So I'm not using a great deal of studio setup. There's one or two bits and pieces, but this is the sort of thing that an intermediate level photographer might have in their house. I've called it The Heart of Poetry, and the plan was to do this with the poetry book that I have here in the studio. But what you have to do is you have to turn the pages and get them to stay folded in like that. And I hadn't done it with this particular book, and they just will not stay in position. I hadn't even got a paper clip to try and clip it underneath on there. So it should be done with a poetry book. This one is Longfellow, Poetical Works. What I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to do it using the Bible that I was going to use for the other demo on here. So I've turned it to Psalms, which is biblical poetry, so it's still the heart of poetry. So that's my my excuse on there. So let me turn to the close-up camera so you can see the setup on here. So hopefully we can see this. I'm going to start up the Tethered Capture, which there you can see the screen. So File, Tethered Capture, start Tethered Capture, and I'm going to put this into a folder called Love, and say OK. So now it's found my my camera on there. So if I go back to that view, you've got the image. Now I'm going to go into live mode on there, so that what you're seeing is what the camera is seeing on this shot. So you can see I've focused in right on the edge there, and as I'm turning this, you can see the focus point changing on the screen. So that will allow me to focus. Now what I want to do with this is I want to get where you can see this glow, the heart shape here, I want light to come through there. So I'm going to use speed light to do it, and I'm going to use a coloured gel. So I'm not going to use anything clever for attaching the gel. So I now have to come out of live view because it doesn't work when in live view. For some reason, the Canon cameras will not fire the flash when you're in live view, which is an absolute pain. I'll tell you. Just get that into a sensible position. That should do. Right, so we're focused. So let's just do a test shot, see what we get. And that is way overexposed on there. But I'm not worried about that at the moment. That just tells me it's working. That's what I want. Now, as you can see from that, the main thing that you can see is light is going absolutely everywhere, which is exactly what we don't want with this. We want the light to come through just through the archway. Now, through the heart. So we need to constrict that light. And this is why I'm not worried about it overexposing it now, because I'm actually looking at what it looks like just through the two loops of paper. And the way I'm going to constrict it is I'm going to use an old friend, a Pringles tube. So I'm just going to stick that on the end of my flash. Over the top of the filter, the gel, one of the reasons why it's so battered. So now let's have a look what that achieves. If we just put that right there, so it's just going in there, that should stop the light spilling, shouldn't it? So let's just do another test shot. And that's starting to look better, but we're still getting a lot of light spilling out from the edges. So it's coming over the top, because I don't know whether you should be able to see on here the height of the paper and the height of the Pringles tube. They're two different heights. So we need to block the top bit off on there. And the way I'm doing that is with a bit of card that looks like that. You can see I've got an elastic band on my Pringles tube. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to bend this round, and if I stand it up, it's going to be easier to actually do. Just to pop that through the elastic band like that. So now, hopefully you can see there on the close-up camera that it's just a section that the light's going to be able to come out. And I can place that down there. So surely that can only go through the heart now. Let's have a look at that. That's starting to look a little bit better, but I think I've got the card down a little too far looking at that. So let's just bring it up a bit. I'm also going to just flatten the base of the Pringles tube so that it sits a little bit better. It's all fallen apart. Right. Flatten the Pringles tube, put that back down there, raise it up just a fraction to about there. So right, now let's see what that's looking like. And you can see I've not changed the exposure, but it's gone a lot darker. Talking of exposure, I'm shooting at 125th of a second, f8, ISO 100. So now that's looking a lot better. We've got this lovely light coming through the tunnel of the books, but we're still getting a little bit of spillage either side. So this is where we just need to deal with that with a couple of bits of card. And what I'm going to do is just pop them either side like that. Hopefully you can see that from the camera. Make sure my heart is back in place. So that should be about it. Let's have a go with that now. Yes. Now, isn't that looking a lot better? What I've done with the flash is I've tested it. Let's be honest. I made sure this was all working beforehand, and I just found a setting. I think on here, if I can see it, yeah, it's 1/16 power. And the way I achieved it was I just picked a figure at random on there, set it up, and then noticed what the value was at, and then I just turned it down until I got to the one I want. There's no point me telling you exactly what it is, to be honest, because your speed lights, your flashes are going to be different. In case you're not aware, I'm using remote triggers. I'm using Yongnuo ones on there, so it's a radio signal. So now that's starting to look fine. A couple of things need to be adjusted with it though. First of all, whoops, I've knocked my card over. That. Now, is that staying upright? Yeah. I just need to adjust the composition on there a little bit. So I'm going to go back into live view so you can see as I'm adjusting the composition. And at the moment, those curves of the heart are bang in the middle. I don't really want them there. So I'm just going to move the camera over a little bit like that and to tilt things a little. Yeah. This is weird doing it off the screen. Now, it looks like it's right on the edge on the view that you've got. It isn't. It's just because I've cropped the middle of the screen, and believe it or not, when you go into live view, it takes the full screen up on there, so you can only see a portion of it. So if I come out of live view on there and take the shot again, you can see that's looking a little bit better, except we've got no light down one of the tunnels, and that's because one of the bits of cards slipped into the way. So let's move that out. Stand that on there. Let's try that. Brilliant, that's what we want. That's the effect I want. The heart, it's a little bit floppy on here, getting that heart heart shape. I need a little bit more blue tack, and as it happens I have a piece here, and what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to make the heart stand up by just putting a little bit more blue tack out of shot underneath there, and that just forces it to stand up a little bit more. So take the shot again, and that is now well and truly stood up. It's not quite heart shaped, is it though, on this one? There we go, try that. That's better, but it's right on the edge of the frame now. So back to live view and recompose that. So I think to about there. Right, focusing as well. I want to focus on that front edge initially and then back it off. All right. So I'm shooting as f8, so I've got a reasonable depth of field, but not huge. I like the writing inside to be in focus, so about there I think we'll do it. Out of live view, take the shot again. Yeah, that's looking really nice. Now, I've got this little bit of light spillage on one side. I'm not overly worried about that actually. I might have a go at just lessening it by changing the bit of card that's in there. Let's try that. Yeah, no, I'm okay with that. But we do need a bit more light on the whole scene so we can see what's coming out. So I have here another speed light. So power on. Already got a receiver on there, and I'm going to set this to 1/32 power, and I want to light the Bible. So what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to stick it on top of this box. It's pointing in approximately the right direction. Let's just see what we get. And this is often the way with this sort of shoot, is you just put the light in, see how it looks, take the shot. And did that go off? No, it didn't. So why didn't you go off? Because I don't know why. It were working earlier. Right. Let's just double check that. Now it's working. Put that back on there and take that shot again. No, it's playing up. Let's get another receiver on that, just in case that's where the problem lies. And a spare trigger from over here. That's now working. That went off. So right now you can see we've filled the scene in. We've got the extra light on there, but it's kind of washing out. Because it's only a thin bit of paper here, so it's causing the light in the one that's furthest away from you to be washed out. So one solution to that is not to light the thing directly, but to bounce the light off somewhere else. So I'm going to bounce it off the grey card that I'm using as just a bit of a background on there. So let's just do that. And now it did go off, I'm sure it did. It definitely did that time. Because it's on grey card, it's not really showing up very much on there. So what I can do is I can just replace the grey with a little bit of white, and that will bounce some of that light back in, and that will change things a little bit. The angle of it. What I'm doing is I'm just putting a clip on there so it will stand stand up like that. And that's kind of lighting it up a little bit better now. And I can choose exactly how I want that to go on here. Just pull that back, angle it a little bit more on there. That should do it. Let's have a look at that. And that, I think, is about it. Just those minor adjustments so that we're now lighting up the Bible. I could do with just filling in a little bit at the bottom here. So another bit of card, and hopefully some of the light, this is where schoolboy physics of light hitting there bounces off, and hopefully just bounce onto this card. What am I going to do? I should put that, another bit of blue tack just to keep it in place like that, and hopefully that's not going to be in the way of the shot, and it's not. So let's go with that. And you see that's just filled in that little bit of the Bible edge at the front just to give me that extra little bit of light on there. And if I bring it in even closer, again, I've just got to watch where this, in fact, if I just bend that, it's not going to get in the way of the shot then, but that should then bounce. Blue tack, card, right. Yeah, that's perfect on there. That's illuminated it. There's enough of that nice orange glow with there to make it all come together and come alive. So we've got that little bit of glow around the edge, which is fine. It just looks like there's more light spilling onto it. We've got that lovely orange glow within the heart of that. To create the abstract. So let's come back to this setup, and I want to have a look what's been going on in chat. Right. Right, are we losing sound on this? I've had a couple of people say sound gone, come again. Have we got sound now? Anybody able to tell me on that? My end, the graph is going, saying that I've got sound. I don't know whether it's all come through at your end, folks. We have a delay, I know. Unfortunately, I don't have timestamps on the chat. Let's see if a different display will give me a timestamp. No. Curious. Right, we've just got a yes from Roger on the chat. No sound when I did show the tabletop view full screen. Ah, right, okay, so basically if I do okay, right, okay, understand. Oh, for some reason that particular scene hasn't got the microphone enabled on it. Really sorry about that, folks. On there. This is the problem of me not being able to see the chat when I'm doing something. Yeah, now I know what it is. I should be able to. Hopefully, I can fix that for the other demo. My apologies for that it didn't work. Right. Basically, the things I was trying to show you during that sequence. If I just grab. No, it's difficult. The things I was showing was the bit of card that fitted on the tube to block it. So hopefully I can sort of fix that one. I'm just going to check one other thing to make sure I have sound. Have I got sound on that? Yes, I've got the display showing on that. Right, okay. Right, well, at this point, what I'm going to do, I need to move a few things around on the table, sort out the sound problem. So I'm going to play in a video whilst I do that. And then when we come back, hopefully I can then talk through the little bits that you might have missed while I was doing that. And hopefully go on with the next one without any sound problems. So see you in a few minutes. Have a look at a video that I created of a visit to Gaspé in Canada and how I photographed there. Good morning, welcome to Gaspé. We're actually at anchor here, just outside Gaspé. The process today is tender boats to get ashore, and by the look of what's going on over my shoulder, I think we're actually going to use the ship's lifeboats as tender boats. Now, whether I'll be able to photograph or do any video during the tendering process, I have no idea. But come and join me on a look around Gaspé. So here I am on an empty lifeboat, waiting to be tendered ashore at Gaspé. I'm on a road bridge heading into Gaspé from where the tender dropped us off, and over my shoulder you can just see the Marco Polo at anchor. Town centre of Gaspé. I'm finding Gaspé a difficult place to photograph. There's lots of interesting things, but most of them aren't that photogenic. So I'm pushing on to the cathedral, which I believe is unique in that it is all made of cedar wood. So let's see whether that can make some interesting images. That was the cathedral. Interesting building to photograph, but not that many angles on things. I think this is going to be the story of Gaspé. It's an interesting place, but photographically, well, it's hard work. I think that's about the only way I can describe it. I'm still looking for interesting things to photograph here in Gaspé. Over my shoulder is the William Wakeham house. Now, I believe it has historical significance to the town. I think it was where the town's founder lived, but it's now a pub and a hotel. So I think that's about the measure of Gaspé. That places to photograph and places of interest are few and far between, and it's quite significant when they mark up on the map a pub and a hotel as a place of interest. I'll carry on and see what else I can see. Behind me you can see the start of the Jacques Cartier boardwalk, which goes along the front here at Gaspé. This has proved a little bit more interesting photographically. Behind me there's some buildings and statues and works of art which I have photographed. They're interesting, I wouldn't say spectacular, but by far the most interesting things I've photographed so far here in Gaspé. Come to the end of the boardwalk. I climbed up some steps to the museum, and just round the back of it are these 7 standing stones. They're carved with different pictures. There's no interpretation board here, but I think there's something to do with commemorating the history of Gaspé. Further up the hill in that direction is another sculpture, and it's called In Memory of She, which is basically a celebration of women. And they were telling me at the tourist information that each part of the sculpture has a different significance. I went up, had a look at the interpretation board, and it turns out the interpretation board is actually an interpretation book, most of which is the inscription of names of women who I presume are associated with Gaspé. So this, I think, is more or less at the end of my journey here. I'm going to have another look round here, probably have something to drink, and then I'll be heading back to the ship. So so long for today, and that's the end of today's visit to Gaspé. Bye bye. Right, okay, we're back. I think I've solved the problem with the microphone. It was a setup issue with OBS, which, let me just try. I'm going to cut over to it now and just check it is working. So. Right, that didn't seem to have any sound either. So I don't know why. Right, let's have a look. Bear with me one moment, folks, where I just check something out on this. Okay, you should be able to hear me now. I've done a quick temporary fix to put that in. Right, okay, let's go back to the view. Hopefully we'll be okay when we switch to that camera. Right, now I need to just reorganize my screens on there. So thank you for bearing with me on all of that, folks. I will go over to my right, over to this view. Right, let's turn the camera on and get rid of the error message that's on my screen. There we go. Why does it just decide it wants to move that bar when it just detects the camera? Right, let's move that up there. Right, okay, let's get into this, and I'll bring that over. So what was I trying to show when the sound cut out previously? Right, what I was trying to show was close-ups of things like the Pringle tube and the bits of card that go with it. Which I've now lost the bit of card. Oh, it's not going well tonight, is it? Ah, there it is. Yeah. So basically, right, you can still hear me. What I was showing at the point when the sound cut out was the Pringle tube with an elastic band on it, and then this going around like that, so that the light would only come out from the bottom section of it, and that was the bit which was going through the tunnel of the folded pages earlier. So that's what I was attempting to show on there. That was the primary thing, you know, just showing that it's just a bit of folded card, really. So nothing particularly spectacular. Right, okay, on to this setup. And right, back to our full sort of setup. Now, so what have I changed on here? I'm still using the Bible. It would have been a different book on there. I've put my wedding ring on the Bible. I've put a speed light directly in line with the spine of the book, and I've got the camera in line with that. So I'm going to have to line the camera up, and let's go into live mode so you can see what I'm doing with that. And as you can see at the moment, it's definitely in the wrong place. I'm going to go into live view on here so I can see what I'm doing. And what I want is framing something like that, and then bring the ring into focus like that. So that's going to be approximately my setup. I will adjust this as we go on, because that's not exactly what I want with it. I'd like a different angle on it. If I come down to something like that and then focus. Now you'll see in a little while I'll end up moving back, but that's what we want to achieve with the layout. And what this will then give me is I come out of live view on the camera and out of live view on there. Again, I'm just going to do a test shot, make sure the flash isn't firing. Okay, we're on. And we're on there, so that's working. So right, on 3, 2, 1. And we are very much overexposed. So let's make a couple of adjustments. First of all, to the speed light, 16th power, yeah, let's take that right down. Let's go to 64th power on that. Put it back in. See what that then gives us. And this is the process I normally go through for getting exposure right with tabletop, is do a little bit of trial and error. That's not looking too bad on there. Still a little bit on the hot side for what I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the change over here. So let's move that up to... Let's move up to F10 on there. And then take the shot again. And this time, that's looking a little bit better. That's the sort of thing I want. We can see the heart shadow that's cast by the ring on there. Could possibly do with being in a little bit closer on that. Now, I'm on a fixed focal length lens, prime lens. So I'm going to play around with the composition here, see if I can get in just a tad closer. So something like that. And then refocus. Now when it comes to focusing, I'm focusing just this side of the ring with the knowledge that I've got a reasonable depth of field, and we can see on the screen there that the writing just in front of the ring is in focus. The top of the ring's very slightly out at the moment, but when I come out of live view and when I take the shot, you will see that the ring is genuinely in focus. If I just come in, double check. Ooh, slightly out at the top, but I'm in at the bottom. Right, okay. I'm going to refocus on that. So back into live view. Now here's a little trick for you. I'm going to have to go into live view on here myself, but the magnifying glass on the front of the camera, when I press that to zoom in on here, it also zooms in on the screen, so you can see that. And I can go in, I'm at 10 times, so I can come up and now manually adjust that edge is absolutely spot on now. So come out of live view there, come out of live view there, click on the button, and there we go. Right, now let me zoom in on that and double check. Nicely in focus at the top. The writing, as I said, just in front is in focus, so that means the bulk of the shadow is. So that's not bad, except I think that should be a little bit further over to the left on the framing. So let's just go back to live view and just adjust that very, very slightly to about there, I think. Come out of live view and take the shot. And that's nice. Now, it would be nicer if we could get a more of a sepia tone effect to it. And there is a way we can do that, and we can do it in camera. And the way, and this is something that's a little tricky to show. This is one of the reasons I wanted to make sure that the secondary camera is working, because I'm going to take the secondary camera and show you the back of the camera as I do this. So, excuse me for a moment, that comes off there. And you should now be able to see what I'm seeing on the back of the camera with that. Right, I will do, I just need to put that down for a moment. There. Right, okay, so now you should be seeing the back of the camera along with me on that. Good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do white balance, but I need to do two things with it. First of all, I need to go into the menu on white balance. And you can see on the Canon, it's on the second menu for the red menu with the camera. I select that. And I can choose a value. Now, the reason of doing it this way is I select K, I can now dial in a particular value for the white balance. And I can go right up to, what, 100, to, what, 10,000 on there. So yeah, I'm going to leave it at that, and I'll hit the set button to say OK on there. Right, let me put this back where it belongs and change the display back in the process. Hopefully. Right. Right, OK, so now what I'm going to do, if I take the shot, because I've set the white balance to be that ridiculously high, it's going to come in with an orange tint to it. And you see we've now got that nice sepia tone effect on there. Now, could I have done that in Lightroom? Absolutely, but not everyone is shooting RAW, and if you're not shooting RAW, you really need to go with the white balance that's in your camera. You should do, because any change marginally degrades the image. So that's what I've done with it. I've added that sepia tone effect by just playing around with the white balance. Now, let's go over to Lightroom. There's a couple of other things I would do with this image. So right, we've got it set up more or less as it should be in there. Let me go full screen with that. What else do I need to do with this shot? Well, I would probably do just a touch of cropping at the bottom on there, and maybe a fraction at the side. But it doesn't need much on it, on there. And guess what? I'm going to add a little bit of a vignette. So I've got a couple of options down here to make that work. And I think it needs quite a strong vignette. So with my presets, it's vignette strength 4 goes with that. And that's more or less all I need to do. I might add a bit of clarity to it, but I don't need much on there. And I've got this idea of a heart shadow cast via a ring. Now, can you do this with 2 rings? Yes, you can. Unfortunately, I don't have a smaller ring. That's my wedding ring on there. I have got my signet ring, and I tried earlier with the signet ring, but because it's another large ring. In fact, it's even larger than my wedding ring, as I found out when absent-mindedly, having done the test, I was putting the rings back on. I ended up putting my wedding ring on my signet ring finger, and I couldn't get the wedding ring off again. I had to use soap to get it off. It comes off nice and easily on the left hand. So I could do that, and you can just get the hearts overlapping by placing the other one right down at the tip of the top heart. But it just doesn't look right because my signet ring has a shield on it, so you don't get a true heart shape anyway. So I'm not going to waste your time on showing that. So that's the live demo done on there. Let's have a look what's been going on in chat. Hopefully not, we can't hear you. Right. Okay, so we've still lost it again at the side of the table. I wonder whether there's a reception issue as well as that microphone issue where it wasn't enabled. I'll have to look at the video afterwards to try and diagnose anything else that's going wrong on there. Right, back to the display proper, where we're at. And Q&A. What have we got in chat? Well, no questions. So you're either all asleep or I've answered them as I've gone through. That was the video from before. I've shown that with the wedding ring. Still not getting anything in chat. So, nice short one tonight. It's just an hour in length. So thank you folks for watching. My apologies about the sound on there. Let me just tell you a little bit about what's coming up. And thank you for commenting and all that. And thank you for those who've been buying me a cuppa as ever. Thanks to Terry for tonight. Need to reveal the member photo of the week from the Facebook group. So big drum roll, and this week's photo is... It's this one from Robin Cotton. I commented about this last Wednesday when I was doing the feedback show. Really striking image. I've flipped it, Robin, to make it work a little bit better with my logo on there. So congratulations, Robin. Thank you for submitting it. I'm intrigued to know when... Well, first of all, I'm intrigued to know about several things to do with this image. First of all, how did you create it, Robin? You still haven't told me on that. And Secondly, I have the colour scheme set up on the Facebook group that it picks the colour from the image. I am dying to see which colour it picks from this one. I will get the image flipped over very shortly. And please keep submitting images, folks, and maybe your image will be the image of the week next week. Next Wednesday is the feedback show. As ever, I'm giving priority to images sent to feedback@ians-studio.co.uk. The rest will be taken from the Facebook group on there, so keep posting your images on there. And the theme, oh yes, just to say, I'll have another instalment of my Photoshop for beginners on Wednesday as well. The theme for next Sunday and the theme for posting during the week, I'm going to look get back at rules of composition. I did do that initially when I first started these live streams a year ago, but we've had quite a few people join since then, and a few people have been asking me questions about the rules of composition. So I'm not just going to rehash what I did last time, I'm just going to pick 3 techniques and look at them in much more detail. So this next time I'm going to look at lead-in lines, rule of thirds and framing, and how those can enhance your photography and how to use those techniques. So if you've got any images that illustrate that, then please share them in the Facebook group and I can talk about them a week later on there. Robin has said it was a droplet on a DVD. I questioned that last time. I wondered whether it was done that way. Right, I think I need to have a play with that technique on there. So anyway, thank you folks, and until next time, keep making great images, and I will see you in the next live stream on Wednesday. Bye for now. Right, this is where I do the other ending for the cut down version, when I eventually get to do the cut down versions. So here we go. Thanks for watching this live video, this live demonstration. You've only seen a bit of it because you've been watching the cut down version. The full version is in my academy, and the highlights, or some of the highlights, will be here on YouTube. But if you really want the full experience now for this video, you'll have to join my academy. It doesn't cost you much, just £6 a month or £60 a year. And the details are over my shoulder. So please consider doing that. And academy members are helping keep this live stream going. Just remember that. So thank you to all the academy members. Right. So until next time, folks, thanks for watching. Keep making great photos, and I will see you next time.